first got the job, you know that quite some people actually told me, you should thank the woman quota. Well, I don't think so. You should thank me for existing, and I'm going to show you why with a little story. Once upon a time, Master Scrum is walking in the forest, and oh, a wild Ditto appears. Master Scrum catches Ditto. The Pokemon you just caught has the ability to transform into any Pokemon. Okay, so Scrum is a subset of agile development, where software development is done through iteration, testing, reactivity, and team collaboration and project delivery are key. The project leader is usually the Master Scrum, but today we will say, actually, Master Scrum, because it sounds cooler. Ditto, our little Pokemon, is simply the embodiment of diversity. Think about it. It can turn into any Pokemon, any flavor, any color, and besides, it doesn't even have a gender. So, what happens when agile methodologies and diversity meet? Scenario. September the 1st, Master Scrum is scrumming in a business intelligence team formed of Ditto. There, Ditto could transform into a Swedish front-end developer or a soon-to-be parent. It could then flip into a senior back-end engineer or a French engineer without an engineering degree. Ditto could also turn into a crazy little youngster who, in addition of being a pipeline engineer, was also a party animal. Finally, Ditto could turn into a colleague who worked remotely from Munich. One morning, Master Scrum is told a new report is due by the end of the month. That was 2 sprints. Ditto transformed into a crazy little youngster. Incredibly motivated by wanting to prove itself, it immediately started developing the backend code. Then Ditto switched into a senior engineer, and it knew exactly which best modeling practices to follow. After only 3 days, the main code was ready to be tested. If Master Scrum overstressed, Ditto would transform into a soon-to-be parent and reminded its partner to chill and breathe. Mental health is important, okay? Sprint 1 was already over, but the main code was failing the test. Time for retrospective, said Master Scrum. Ditto transformed into a French person, so he could start criticizing. The code is okay, but le petit server has too little CPU for it to run. True. So Ditto transformed into a pipeline engineer and goes like, guys, why don't I speed up the data in the pipeline already? Fantastic, said Master Scrum, and Sprint 2 went on. Only 2 days left. The pipeline's optimizations were larger than expected. We got to reprioritize, says Master Scrum, and boom, Ditto transforms into a Swedish person, and after only 3 meetings, manages to build a consensus. Man, let's deploy the backend code today and leave the pipeline for tomorrow so that the front-end task can carry on. Next thing, Ditto turns into an engineer without an engineering degree and goes like, guys, why don't we simply fully update the code in production, and so if it crashes, boom, we catch it. The intention was good, but luckily, Ditto transforms into a senior engineer and manages to draw the line between good practices and not so good practices. A parallel table is built to put the new data in without breaking the database. Finally, Ditto transforms into a remote dev and uses its hyper-trained distance reactivity to stay super tuned with the sprint. You guessed it. The next morning, the front-end tasks are deployed as well. So, did they manage to deliver the report in time? Well, of course they did. And yet, Ditto had one last shape to share. It transformed into a party animal, making sure that everyone is extremely proud of the hard work and collaboration. And celebrating hard work is important. Now, let's be real for a second. Pokemons don't exist, but I do. And apart from being a gender, I'm also a French engineer who did not study engineering. And all those transformations Ditto could do are simply my amazing data engineering colleagues. Now, I hope you recognize this. Thanks to agile methodologies, diverse teams can let all Ditto's shape dance in their own way, but to the same music, and go from a set of different and even opposite individuals to a united team of talented people. Thanks to diversity, agile methodologies can bloom, adapt, and quickly react in an environment that does not follow engineering theories. A human environment. Thank you.